All right, let's dive into James Allen's classic, As a Man Thinketh. Now this book, it's really short, but the main idea inside is so powerful it has inspired millions. It asks a simple question. What if you, and you alone, had the power to shape your own destiny, just by controlling your thoughts? That's exactly what we're going to explore.
So this one sentence, this is basically the entire book in a nutshell. It's a pretty wild idea when you think about it, that everything about you, your personality, your success, your failures, none of it is by accident. It's a direct reflection, like a printout, of what's happening inside your own mind. We literally are what we think. You see, this completely flips the script on how we usually see things. We tend to think we're just reacting to life, right? But Allen says, nope, we are actively creating it. He has this amazing metaphor of a master weaver, as if our mind is constantly spinning the threads that create who we are on the inside and what our life looks like on the outside. We are the makers.
Okay, so if we're the ones in charge, that begs a pretty big question. What does it really mean to be the master of your thoughts? Are you a wise ruler of your inner kingdom, or is it total chaos in there?
This is where Allen makes a really fascinating point. He says we are always the master. You can't escape that job. The only choice you have is what kind of master you're going to be. Are you the foolish one, whose inner house is a complete mess, who's always getting knocked around by life? Or are you the wise one, who intentionally directs all that mental energy towards something good?
This really puts the responsibility right back on us, doesn't it? Our thoughts are the raw material. Allen calls the mind an armory, and we are always in there, forging something. The only question is, what are we making? Are we building tools to create a life of joy and strength? Or are we actually crafting the very weapons that will tear us down? It's always our choice.
To really help us get a handle on this big idea, Allen gives us this absolutely brilliant metaphor that he uses throughout the whole book. Your mind is a garden.
And here is the most important part of that whole garden idea. A garden will always grow something. It's never just empty. So if you aren't deliberately planting beautiful flowers, positive, useful thoughts, then weeds are going to show up and take over. It's inevitable. So the question isn't if your mind is growing something, it's what is it growing? So that naturally leads us to the practical part. If your mind is a garden, how in the world do you actually take care of it? Well, this is all about becoming the master gardener of your own soul. The first step, just like with any real garden, is you got to do some weeding. This means you have to consciously look for and pull out the thoughts that are holding you back. Things like fear and doubt and indecision. They aren't just feelings. They're like invasive weeds that are choking out any chance for something better to grow. But you can't just weed and then walk away, right? You can't leave the soil bare. As you pull those weeds, you have to intentionally plant new seeds. You have to actively cultivate thoughts of courage, of self-reliance, of forgiveness. This is not a passive thing. It's a deliberate act of mental gardening. And it's through this constant, daily process, the weeding, the planting, that the real change happens. You're not just tidying up your thoughts. You are fundamentally changing your relationship with yourself. You discover that, hey, you actually are the one in charge, the director of your own life.
Now, all this mental gardening, it's not just a feel-good activity. It produces a very real, very tangible harvest in your life. Allen says there's an unbreakable law of cause and effect that starts in the mind. And it's an idea you hear echoed everywhere, from modern psychology all the way to the law of attraction.
And this table here just lays it out perfectly. You can see that direct link. Every single thought seed produces its own kind of fruit. So if you're consistently planting seeds of fear and doubt, well, you're going to harvest failure. But if you plant seeds of courage and decisiveness, your life is going to start to give you success and freedom. It's a direct correlation.
And this all leads to one of the most powerful ideas in the entire book. Your circumstances don't make you, they reveal you. Think about that. Your outer world isn't a prison holding you captive, it's a mirror. It is simply showing you what's currently growing in your inner garden. And if you don't like what you see in the mirror, well, you can't change the mirror, you have to change what it's reflecting.
Once you really truly get that you have power over the reflection, your whole role changes. You're not just a gardener anymore, pulling weeds and dealing with the seasons. You become the architect, consciously designing your entire destiny from the ground up.
So how does an architect start a project? With a blueprint, right? A vision. Allen argues that every great thing that's ever happened, every bit of human progress, it all started as a dream, an ideal that someone held on to in their mind. The dreamers, he says,
are the ones who actually build our world.
And this isn't just about wishful thinking. You start by cherishing a vision. Then, as you work to become that vision on the inside, by changing your thoughts, your habits, your outer world has no choice but to change with you. That's what he means when he says you cannot travel within and stand still without. Inner movement creates outer movement. Your vision literally becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Ultimately, this is the simple, unshakable law that Alan is talking about. We become as small as our most controlling desires, or we become as great as our highest aspirations. Whatever you secretly focus on the most, that's the destination your life is automatically headed toward.
So this entire book really just boils down to this one profound personal question. The power, what Alan calls the commanding master, it's already inside you. It's not something you need to go out and find. It's just sleeping. And so the only real question left to ask yourself is, what are you going to do to wake him up?